somebody tosses a 300 today in this game, it's $1 million.
Yeah, I mean, this is, I think this is the matchup that everybody wanted to see. And all of America pulling for this man, in my opinion.
Hello, everyone. I'm Norm Duke. I'm going to give you a little bit of commentary from one of the players.
And there's the ninth pin that he didn't get before. He kicked that one aside, and a perfect start for Duke.
Understandably, this is one of my favorite shows ever
His emotions.
because of
And that's the big question. Harder to do when you're 54
that man.
than it is when you're 34.
One of the greatest, if not the greatest, that I've ever watched. And for me to get to bowl a game for a title against Jason,
Might have gone home to Australia had he won last week.
it was a
when
big
he
deal.
didn't, he added this to his schedule. Now that is filthy.
That is. And you know what's so great about this game and this sport is it takes all different shapes and sizes. Both players playing the lanes completely different. As you see, Belmonte is curving it. Norm is throwing it as straight as you can throw it. And the result is the same.
And we'll see how Jason does. Again, we dual patterns here. So the pattern on the right lane is not the same as the pattern on the left lane. The pattern on the left lane is longer. So let's see what Belmo does here.
7 feet longer.
Yeah, this pattern's 7 foot longer, but it plays like it's 50 foot longer. You just cannot get a ball to turn up.
And he's decided to go straighter like Malott did towards the end of last game. We'll see if it works out.
And you hear Randy telling, look how straight he's playing. That is a lot of revolutions and a big bowling ball that he's throwing, and he's not to fourth arrow. So that is pretty straight for him. Not for me. I'll show you what straight is.
There may not be anybody better at making adjustments on the fly than that guy.
I'm not going to argue that.
Our Columbia 300 fun fact, Pete Weber and Walter Ray Williams Jr. have each won 3 times here at Woodland Bowl. 5 of the 6 wins are in majors. All 3 at PDWs and 2 of Walter Ray's.
What about me?
And
Norm's won, 4 times here.
Ah, there we go.
Yeah, Walter Ray, Pete Weber, Norm, they own this center.
It's good.
Okay, that's straight.
That's one powerful feather.
Referring back to how I said, and if you look at just how slowly the ball is rotating out of his hand, and that's what I mean by feathering it. You take a look at what he did here in 2008 at the World Championship. He was kind of feathering it then, but had a little more on it. Again, that was 11 years ago.
In 2011, he won his last televised singles title. You see what he's done here at Woodland with his buddy Wes Malott, who we just dispatched to get to this championship match. Well, those are just gorgeous shots. Every one of them so far is like he zip lines them in there.
I like it when they put that line on the right and then you roll the ball right on top of that line. That's cool as heck. How did they know I was going to roll that ball?
He should be fine. The only thing he needs to avoid is getting too fast. But he's just really piping it right at the 1-3 on both lanes.
Incredibly, this is the first time these two have faced each other on television.
And a 55-year-old's not going to get too fast. Not happening.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Well, take a look at how he's playing the 2 lanes. Remember, the right lane's the shorter pattern. And he's actually now deeper on the right lane and curving it more than he is on the left lane. Which, by the way, makes perfect sense to us back in the 90s. Back in the 90s on the shorter pattern, you always stood farther left and curved it more. And on the longer patterns, you stood farther right and went straighter because the ball went straighter. Not in today's game. They do just the opposite.
Absolute raw power that time from Belmo. 3 strikes out of 4, but he still trails because Norm is 3 for 4.
Oh, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan. I can't keep my eyes off it. It's like watching Tiger Woods when he's bowling. I mean, when he's golfing.
And we've got got ourselves
just sucks the whole world in. You have to
That's
watch.
what we wanted. We kind of wanted this match to begin with. We've got it. And they're off to a great start. A little bit through the face.
Oh, he got robbed.
Break on that 9-pin.
Yeah, either the 4 or the 9, but not both. Not a good break. That's a pocket split for Duke as he comes up just a pinch high. A good break, he would have tripped both the 4 and the 9 out, but instead, now he's got to slide the 4 into the 9.
Yeah, and I'm thinking at this point, you know, I have just pured 4 in a row,
This has a 19-point
and I'm behind because hey, I'm probably not going to make this, but
This part of the 4 pin and throw it into the 9.
it just takes your heart out when you've done everything to be ahead in the match and you're behind. Oh, well, no, we're not behind. Not yet. This place just charged me at this moment. They're so much louder in person.
Turn the channel. Norm Duke had his best at age 54. Watch this. He knew he had it. Great conversion to maintain his lead by one of the best that's ever laced him up on the PBA Tour. That man right there, Norm Duke.
Belmo looking for his 20th title. Duke is 39th. He likes it. He should like it.
Bad break on the right lane. Nice break on the left lane for Norm Duke.
Yeah, that's a big break. You throw it like this on the left lane, the longer pattern, you looked at 2-8-10 just about every time. Maybe a 2-pin, maybe a 10 if you're lucky. Never a strike.
That's been his mantra forever. You see it.
What does that do for him?
It's a feel thing for him. He loves feeling that cork in the front part of his thumb. As we take a look at Belmonte's arsenal, High Road Nano.
Perfect. You can just tell on the right there. It shows it on the screen. Intended line, actual line, perfect.
That clearly. And I think, is he the first guy to use the same ball in both lanes today?
He's using the same type of ball, but
Okay.
it looks like 2 different layouts.
Gotcha.
Oh, and by the way, when we started this event, the lanes were so much different. It was crazy. And every day, the tight lane hooked a little more, and the hooking lane got a little tighter. And before you know it, I'm almost playing the lanes the same at this point. 2 different balls, of course, but almost the same. Jason's now on the same ball, basically, both lanes. So for those of you that think,
Inside, he knew it just a little bit.
so for those of you that think that they're always going to be different, no, they'll come together
The speed and the
quite
power,
often.
as he can play all angles.
It's one of the hardest things about bowling in a 2-pattern event is to negotiate the change
Now,
every day.
Norm Duke can do the same thing at half the rev rate, at half the RPMs.
One of the unsung things about Jason Belmonte's game is that right there, his ability to fill frames. He makes every spare he shoots at. He's one of the best spare shooters that I've watched ever,
It's been a pleasure being able
and he's got the most powerful strike ball in the history of mankind. Kind of a good recipe for success there.
This guy can double up and increase his, take a 9-pin lead.
Fresh off a 4-9.
Belmonte knows he's in a fight with one of the greatest ever. Norm Duke, one of the greatest clutch players ever.
Belmo had to expect it. He had to know that Norm was going to give everything he had here.
Well, he watched the game against Malott and saw that Norm didn't miss the pocket from the 3rd frame on, and he knew that Norm was going to have a good look.
Belmo won the position round with the right to be the #1 seed.
Right down that strike. That was awesome. These people are getting louder and louder, and it's getting more and more scary. I tell you what, I can barely breathe right there.
Throwing every uppercut they have in the book.
I mean, yeah, what about me? What a thrill for me.
But you've done it.
Yeah, but I mean, to call this again.
I know, you're right. I agree.
To
I'm with
call
you.
another match for Norm Duke.
Yeah.
We're going to call matches for Belmonte. How many times are we going to get to see Norm Duke bowl for a title against the greatest player on the planet in Jason Belmonte?
Utterly evil in a good way.
You're right. You know what was interesting is when we interviewed Norm Duke last night, we asked him who the greatest bowler of all time is. And he said, unequivocally, without question, without a doubt, Jason Belmonte.
Yeah, that guy. Why wouldn't you?
Well, the variety that you just touched on, what is available in Belmont's arsenal.
You know, and there's a couple of players that would beg to differ with Walter Ray Williams Jr. and Earl, but he may end up being the best ever. Take a look at what he's done in February.
Yeah, Marshall, Kent, Wes Milano, the only guys to make match play in every event they have bowled in this month. But you see Jason has a 1,245 pin advantage on Kent and over 1,400 on Malott.
Yeah.
It's just uncanny. Gotta have it. Messenger let him down. He usually gets those.
He usually gets that. Good call. Good call.
And you're right. He usually carries just about 95% of those messengers that come across. But we saw it last week with the two pocket 710s. And this time the same thing as the pin goes behind the 10.
How many times have we seen that pin just race over as if it's destined to take out the 10 pin?
And this is the point that I honestly believe a strike wins.
Big shot coming up for Duke. He can extend his lead to 29. Max score for Duke, 278. 239 for Belmonte. Duke knows exactly what he needs to do for title number 39. Two players in the history of our sport have won 40 or more titles. Walter Ray and Earl.
Still some hope for Belmo.
And that's what's so good about all sport, just sport in general.
Well, and speaking for myself,
Is you think you win the football game, but no, it's called back for holding.
I didn't want to say
You think you've thrown the best shot in the history of mankind to win a tournament, and you get assolidated. Oh no!
Norm.
Next thing you know, you're shooting a spare, and you're trying to stay behind the line just to stay in the match. Oh my goodness,
well, he's got to stay behind
how
the
things
foul line
turn.
on both lanes. This lane here and the one next to him as he comes towards us. Again, the agility of a gazelle at age 54. Soon to be 55.
Yeah, next month.
Yeah, that spot on the left side was slick. They said it was sticky. It's actually slippery. And I caught it twice during the day. That was the one that affected me most.
His max is now 257.
There's a lot going in a build-out of a set when you're having TV, and sometimes a little bit of dust is all it takes to make it really tough. Where one lane will feel, one approach will feel real slippery, and the other one will be just fine, but it unnerves us.
Well, Jason pretty much has to just punch out here, right?
Well, Belmonte can strike out for 239, but he can't shut out Norm Duke. Norm Duke can still shoot 257, even with that lousy solid 8 in the 8th frame. But Belmonte knows that he needs to put the pressure on Duke. If he strikes out, he forces Duke to get the first strike in the 10th frame.
Yeah, and if he makes any kind of shot here, he's going to strike. He may never miss on the right lane.
Yeah, they all look the same on that line. 6 going to the sidewall late, cut the 10 in half. But he's had trouble on this lane striking.
I really thought that he would make a big move here
Only one strike on this lane.
on the left lane, just because it was getting a lot. It was sketchy. Some would hook, some wouldn't. I anticipated him just to make about a 6-board left move
Boy, is this reminiscent of
and
last
just
week
keep
where
it
he needs
just right of the pocket
to fill the
with
10
everything
last
he's
week,
got on it.
double an 8 to shut
But
out
he stayed
7-10.
right where he was.
Release the pocket 7-10. Now he needs to strike out to force Duke to get the first strike.
Remember, he was a bird dog 10 the last time. He's going to try to get it to roll up harder. And it did.
For Jason, you could see it right away. That was going to dive. He was almost better off if the thing had gone to Brooklyn.
It was inside a target, and that's in the driest part of the lane. Remember where all the players started early? That's exactly where that was. He needed to be right of that laydown area.
Yep, you got a great look at that little chop.
Wow, you know, at this point, it's pretty much over, and I can't do the math. I'm looking up at the scoreboard is right in front of me, and I cannot get the math done. I still think I need a mark. At this very moment, I'm trying to count the pin, and I can't get it added up. It's just the nerves, the things that go on in your head that fool you. And at this point, I am struggling doing the math. And there he goes. The math is done.
Looking at Norm there as much as I'm looking at Belmonte. I think it's starting to sink in.
That's the moment that I said a straight ball down the middle wins my 39th PBA title against one of the greatest that has ever walked the earth, probably the greatest. And he bowled a solid game. I mean, that was a sound game. Struck every shot on the right lane and left a 4-pin on the left lane, a blow of 10 on the left lane, and then intermittent strikes. But
Doorstep of number 39.
Pretty solid game other than the 10.
Right down the middle.
There it is. Norm Duke has done it. Norm Duke, for the 39th time, is a champion on the PBA Tour.
That moment I will never forget as long as I live.
He said it, I'm going to win again.
The respect I have for Jason is immeasurable.
And he has done it.
To be able to bowl against him at this stage of my career is unbelievably cool. And to actually win one. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
Performance, what a performer. When you turn on the TV lights, there's hardly been anybody better in this game than that man right there.
If you think all of these fans, they've been here for many, many years. You feel like they're family members. You get to know so many of them by first name. And to look around and see all the familiar faces that day chokes me up. Don't believe me? Just watch.